Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
She was stunningly bold and wild. Alternating between the men, she gave herself fully to their touches and kisses. Her sweat-drenched skin glistened under the dim light, and her deep moans and sharp cries filled the room with heat. As one man gripped her waist and thrust deeply, Lauren arched her back, gasping. Her hands dug into another man's shoulders, leaving red marks, while her tongue traced boldly along his neck. "I can't take any more," she murmured breathlessly, but her actions betrayed her words as she eagerly indulged in their bodies, pulling them closer. "My name is Stephen, and I'm a 53-year-old typical white-collar worker. My wife, Lauren, is 49, but she has this stunning beauty that makes her seem way younger than she is. We had 2 kids, but both have started their own families and moved out, so now it's just the two of us living together. It was love at first sight when I met Lauren back in college, on campus. My heart raced back then, and I can still picture it clearly when I saw her reading a book with a quiet smile. Lauren was shy and reserved, but she opened up to me in a way she didn't with others. The shy smile she gave only to me still makes my heart race. Almost 30 years have passed since then. Every morning when I wake up and see Lauren sleeping beside me, I think, how can someone be this beautiful? Even as time goes by, her sparkling eyes and gorgeous figure remain unchanged. When she stirs in bed, glowing in the sunlight, I'm still totally smitten. Since the kids moved out, our life as a couple has become more laid back. After work, we enjoy leisurely dinners, sometimes watch a movie on Netflix, or take a stroll in the neighborhood park. And when night falls, we share passionate moments that make us feel young again. Lauren is usually quiet and elegant, but in our intimate moments, her eyes light up and her touch gets bolder. We both love those moments. When the kids were still home, we were cautious, keeping things to the bedroom, but now we freely express our love all over the house, even indulging in each other in the warm water of the bathtub. The way her wet hair clings to her neck and her slippery skin feels under my fingertips gives me chills every time. Recently, though, I started craving something new. I began wondering, could we find something more intense, something different to enjoy? That thought grew stronger. One day, out of curiosity, I started browsing the internet. That's when I stumbled across the swinger lifestyle. At first, it was just curiosity, but the more I read articles and forums, the more intrigued I became. I came across interviews with couples who had tried swinging, and many said it brought them closer together. I learned that middle-aged couples often do this to find new excitement and passion. One couple said, "We discovered new sides of each other and fell in love even more deeply." And those words really hit home. But bringing this up with Lauren wasn't easy. Knowing her introverted nature, I was sure she'd say no. Still, one night, over a glass of wine, I worked up the nerve. We were sitting on the living room sofa with smooth jazz playing in the background, and I carefully started the conversation. "Lauren, there's something I'd like to talk about." I set my glass down and looked at her. Lauren tilted her head slightly and smiled. "What's up, Stephen? You don't usually look this serious." Her playful eyes made me hesitate for a moment. "Well, I read about something called the swinger lifestyle recently. Have you ever heard of it?" I took a deep breath and asked. Her eyes widened a bit, and her hand holding the wine glass froze. "Swinging? I think I saw it in a documentary once. Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden?" Her voice carried a mix of curiosity and hesitation. My heart was racing, but I decided to be honest. To be honest, I've been thinking it might be something we could try. Maybe it could spice things up in our relationship. The room fell silent for a moment. Lauren looked at me, surprised, and slowly set her glass down. I noticed her hand trembling slightly, and I started having second thoughts. "Stephen, are you joking?" she asked, her eyebrows slightly furrowed. "We're almost 50. Something like that. I don't think age should hold us back," I said, desperately trying to explain. "Maybe now's the time we can try something new, be a little freer. Our love hasn't changed, but sometimes we need a bit of excitement, don't we? Lauren bit her lip and looked down. Is that how you feel? But with my personality, I don't know if I could handle being in a place like that. Her voice was soft and shaky. I'm sorry, Lauren. I shouldn't have brought it up. You can forget I said anything. I quickly tried to backtrack. But then she looked up and quietly asked, why do you want to try something like that, Stephen? Her eyes were serious, with a hint of unease. I took a deep breath and opened up. Being with you is the happiest thing in the world. But sometimes I feel like a new adventure could bring fresh energy to us. I want to see you in a new light, and I thought maybe it could make our bond even stronger. Even as I spoke, I was tripping over my words. Lauren sat there for a while, toying with her glass, then let out a small sigh. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm not good with strangers. I don't know if I could do it. I need some time to think it over. That night, we didn't talk about it anymore. I went to bed regretting my impulsiveness. For a few days, there was a subtle awkwardness between us. I decided not to bring it up again, but 3 days later, after taking a bath, Lauren suddenly spoke up. About what we talked about the other day. She was drying her wet hair with a towel, her cheeks slightly flushed. If it's just once, I think I could try it. I looked at her, stunned. Really? Lauren, I don't want you to feel pressured. It was a silly idea. She shook her head slightly and smiled. No, it's not a bad idea. I kind of want to challenge myself a bit. Her words sent a mix of joy, nerves, and excitement through me. After that, I started preparing thoroughly. I looked for trustworthy swinging events, researching rules and safety thoroughly. I found an exclusive party held in an upscale neighborhood. The participants were carefully selected middle-aged couples, and submitting health records was required. On the day we decided to go, Lauren seemed nervous all day. I was tempted to say, we can cancel, a few times, but she quietly shook her head and said, it's okay, Stephen. Thank you. Her words tugged at my heart. I worried that I was pushing her into this out of my own selfishness. But seeing the determined look in her eyes, I pushed those thoughts aside. That evening, we dressed up as nicely as we could. Lauren chose a black cocktail dress she rarely wore, styling her long hair in loose waves. When I saw her in front of the mirror, I was floored. The dress hugged her curves, and her soft fragrance made her even more enchanting. Lauren, you look stunning. I'm almost jealous already, I said with a laugh. She smiled shyly and said softly, thanks, Stephen. Her cheeks flushed, and she looked so cute. The party was held in a luxurious mansion in a high-end suburb of LA. We passed through a marble gate into a beautiful garden, beyond which stood a modern-designed house. Nervously, I rang the doorbell, and a classy guy in his 50s opened the door. Welcome. We've been expecting you, he said with a warm smile, guiding us inside. In the spacious living room, several stylish middle-aged couples were already gathered. They were all well-dressed, looking slightly nervous like us. Soft classical music played under a fancy chandelier. Stephen, Lauren, nice to meet you. I'm James, one of the hosts of this party, said the smiling man. Next to him stood an elegant woman. This is my wife, Sophia. We hope you have a wonderful time tonight, Sophia said warmly, speaking kindly to Lauren in particular. Lauren, your dress is gorgeous. Where did you get it? Oh, thank you. I just pulled it out of my closet, Lauren replied shyly, and Sophia's kindness helped her relax a bit. The first hour was spent sipping cocktails, eating light appetizers, and chatting. I actively talked with others, and Lauren gradually warmed up to the atmosphere. Knowing everyone else was feeling similar nerves and excitement made me feel comfortable. I really clicked with a 48-year-old woman named Olivia, who was bright and outgoing, helping me relax. Her husband, Ryan, had a gentle demeanor and chatted comfortably with Lauren. We're actually first-timers too, Olivia whispered, her eyes twinkling. Ryan really wanted to try it, and I was hesitant at first, but I thought a new experience could be a blast. Her honesty made me smile. We're in a similar boat. We just wanted to try something new. After the chat session, James got everyone's attention. All right, let's move on to the main event. You all know the rules. Never push anyone, respect each other's boundaries, and most importantly, have fun. With that, the vibe got electric. A mix of nerves and excitement crackled in the air. I looked at Lauren. Her cheeks were slightly flushed, but she seemed more at ease than I expected. You okay, Lauren? I asked softly. She met my eyes and nodded. Yeah, everyone's nicer than I thought. I'm okay. Her words reassured me, but my heart was racing, unsure of what was to come. People started moving around, pairing up with new partners. I continued talking with Olivia and moved to a leather sofa in one corner of the room. Olivia was a great conversationalist, making me feel comfortable. Stephen, you and Lauren are such a great couple. How long have you been married? She asked, sipping her wine. Over 25 years. We met in college. As we talked, I glanced over and saw Lauren. She was chatting with Ryan and another man, Nick. Seeing shy Lauren laughing and talking so openly surprised me. Her gestures and smile exuded confidence. Lauren's really charming, Olivia said with a smile. In places like this, the quiet ones often stand out. She was right. More men started gathering around Lauren, Ryan, Nick, and then another man, Michael. Watching her laugh and talk with them stirred mixed feelings in me. I felt proud seeing her shine, but there was also a weird cocktail of nerves and excitement. Was it jealousy? Or was I just shocked by this new side of her? I couldn't tell. Are you okay, Stephen? Olivia asked gently, noticing my expression. I hesitated before answering honestly. Yeah, it's just, this is new. She smiled warmly and placed a hand on my arm. That's normal. I felt the same way at first. But if you trust each other, it's okay. Just enjoy tonight. Her words lifted my spirits. I realized everyone here was probably feeling something similar. But soon, I noticed Lauren surrounded by Ryan, Nick, and Michael. Unlike her usual shy self, she was engaging them with a bold, confident look, laughing freely. It was a side of her I'd never seen, and it made my stomach drop. Shock, jealousy, and a wild rush swirled inside me. You all right? Olivia asked again, her voice tinged with concern. Yeah, it's just, I've never seen Lauren like this, I said, struggling to find words. As time passed, the energy in the room spiked. My conversation with Olivia deepened, and I was drawn to her warm smile and witty charm. At one point, she gently took my hand and whispered, Stephen, want to go somewhere private? My heart raced. It was time to make a move. I looked for Lauren, but she was nowhere in sight. Lauren must have gone to another room, Olivia said softly, leading me along. I hesitated but trusted that Lauren had made her own choice. I followed Olivia to a quiet room. Once the door closed, she became shockingly bold. She cupped my face with both hands and looked at me with deep, intense eyes. Let's forget everything else and just enjoy our time together, Stephen, she said in a low, soft voice. She kissed me, and my nerves melted. Her lips were warm, and as the kiss deepened, my body heated up. I wrapped my arms around her waist, tracing her curves. Her skin was soft and warm, and her soft, sweet moans stoked my desire. When her hands slipped under my shirt to caress my chest, a thrill shot through me. But part of me kept thinking of Lauren. Is she okay? Is she overdoing it? Those thoughts flickered in my mind. Olivia seemed to sense my hesitation and pressed herself closer, her hands moving lower. Her touch was confident, both gentle and intense, pulling me in completely. Look at me, Stephen, she whispered, catching her breath. Her hands deftly undid my pants, and her warm lips enveloped me boldly. Her tongue moved with a rhythmic, teasing precision, sending electric jolts through my body. I couldn't resist. Closing my eyes, I surrendered to the sensation of her warm, wet mouth. Each flick of her tongue on my most sensitive spots sent waves of pleasure crashing over me, and I let out suppressed moans. Olivia, I gasped her name, breathing heavily. I couldn't resist anymore. I gently laid her on the bed and hurriedly removed her dress. Her smooth skin was breathtaking, and I gave in, kissing her neck, her chest, and down her soft curves. Her skin was hot and carried an enticing scent. Each time my lips touched her, she trembled and let out soft moans. Olivia writhed, grabbing my hair tightly, her breathing growing rough and primal. My hands caressed her inner thighs, sliding toward her center. She was already wet, and as my fingers explored her, her moans grew deeper and more urgent. We devoured each other's bodies eagerly. The sight of her trembling with pleasure, her sharp cries as she reached her peak, swept me away. I entered her deeply, her warm, tight sensation overwhelming me. She wrapped her legs around me, pulling me deeper. Our movements grew more frantic, her nails digging into my back, leaving red marks. Finally, the peak of pleasure hit us both. Her body convulsed violently, her breaths turning into sharp cries. I gave in, swept away by a raw, physical release I hadn't felt in years. In that moment, the world was nothing but the heat between us. Sweaty and breathless, Olivia lay on the bed. Her disheveled hair, flushed cheeks, and desire-filled eyes were a stark contrast to her earlier elegance. She smiled contentedly and reached out to stroke my face. But then, Lauren's face flashed in my mind. Her warm smile, laughing with our kids. A wave of guilt hit me. No matter how intense this pleasure was, it came at the cost of betraying my family. Holding Olivia, feeling her warm breath, my heart was in pieces. Her satisfied smile clashed with the guilt I felt toward my wife, leaving me reeling. That was mind-blowing, Stephen, Olivia said, catching her breath. Thanks to you, Olivia. It was mind-blowing, I said, smiling sincerely. We got dressed and returned to the main room, but Lauren wasn't there. Panic started to set in as I looked around. Ryan approached and said, "Lauren's probably in one of the inner rooms." My pulse raced as I headed toward the rooms. The closer I got, the more I heard moans and whispers, a mix of nerves and curiosity swirling inside me. Pausing at a door, I finally opened it slightly. There was Lauren, passionately entangled with three men, Ryan, Nick, and Michael. She was stunningly bold and wild. Alternating between the men, she gave herself fully to their touches and kisses. Her sweat-drenched skin glistened under the dim light, and her deep moans and sharp cries filled the room with heat. As one man gripped her waist and thrust deeply, Lauren arched her back, gasping. Her hands dug into another man's shoulders, leaving red marks, while her tongue traced boldly along his neck. "I can't take any more," she murmured breathlessly, but her actions betrayed her words as she eagerly indulged in their bodies, pulling them closer. Her body trembled violently in the waves of pleasure. As one man stimulated her most sensitive spot, her moans grew desperate, and she finally screamed, reaching her climax. Her body convulsed, arching like a bow, her nails digging into the man's back. But she didn't stop. Barely catching her breath, she pulled another man close, kissing him fiercely and diving back into the whirlwind of pleasure. Her warm, wet center consumed them, and her body raced toward another peak. Her eyes burned with desire, her sweat-soaked hair clinging to her face. The shy, quiet Lauren I knew was gone, replaced by a woman driven by primal instinct, lost in pleasure. I stood frozen. Her wild movements, her pleasure-soaked moans, and the sight of her reaching climax with two men threw me into a storm of shock, jealousy, and an unexpected thrill. As her body trembled through another orgasm, my head was reeling. Her cries of ecstasy cut through me, pushing me to the edge of confusion and desire. After staring blankly for a while, I came to my senses and closed the door. Was that really Lauren? Her behavior was so unfamiliar it left me doubting. I hurried back to the lobby to wait for her. The party went on until dawn, with everyone chatting, beaming with contentment. Lauren returned, looking tired but with sparkling, lively eyes. "Did you have fun?" I asked cautiously. She smiled, slightly embarrassed, and nodded. "Yeah, way more fun than I expected." Her honesty reassured me, but mixed emotions flooded me. On the taxi ride home, Lauren fell asleep, leaning on my shoulder. Feeling her soft breathing and warmth, I ran through the night in my head. "This adventure," I suggested, Was it really okay? Lauren seemed to have genuinely enjoyed it, but it revealed a side of her I didn't know. That discovery was exciting yet unsettling. The next morning, Lauren was up early, making coffee in the kitchen. Watching her from behind, she turned and smiled. "Good morning, Stephen." Her smile was as soft as always, but it carried a fresh confidence. "Good morning. Sleep well?" I asked, holding my coffee mug. "Yeah, best sleep in a while," she said with a laugh. Our conversation felt effortless, and we didn't mention the previous night. But after breakfast, Lauren suddenly spoke up. "When's the next party?" I almost spit out my coffee. "The next one? You want to go again?" Her cheeks flushed as she met my eyes. "Yeah, it was way more fun than I expected." Her words left me with tangled emotions. I'd suggested it, but I hadn't expected this. Shy, quiet Lauren wanting to go again. "That's great," I said, forcing a smile, though my head was all over the place. After that, Lauren changed subtly. She started dressing up more and going out more often. Most surprisingly, she began researching the next party's schedule herself. "There's one the second Saturday of next month," she said one night, looking at her tablet, her voice tinged with excitement. "Got it," I replied, feeling complicated. I was happy with her new side, but worried she was changing in ways I didn't fully understand. "Want to go, Stephen?" she asked cautiously. I looked into her eyes and nodded. "If it makes you happy, I'm in." Her smile made my heart swell. We decided to attend the next party. The second party was grander, with a bigger crowd. Lauren worked the room, not just with the men she'd met before, but with new people too. I reconnected with Olivia and met another woman, Jessica, through her. But as the night went on, my eyes kept following Lauren. Seeing her laugh and talk with other men made my chest tighten, yet it also stirred an odd excitement. "Worried about your wife?" Jessica asked, reading my expression. Her eyes were warm but playful. "Yeah, it's complicated," I admitted honestly. She smiled softly. "That's okay. Sometimes it's part of the thrill, seeing your spouse with others. That's why people come to these parties." Her words made sense of my feelings. The excitement outweighed the jealousy and unease. Seeing Lauren shine as an attractive woman filled me with pride and an unexpected thrill. It was all mixed up. That night, Lauren spent intimate time with several men. I shared a moment with Jessica, but Lauren was always on my mind. Her laughter, her reactions to other men's touches, stuck with me. On the way home, Lauren looked exhausted but had a satisfied smile. "Had fun, Lauren?" I asked quietly. "Yeah, you?" she replied, squeezing my hand. "Yeah, but I kept thinking about you," I confessed. She smiled warmly and rested her head on my shoulder. "Me too. No matter what, you're the most important to me." Her words tugged at my heartstrings. We always found our way back to each other, and that was the most important thing. Over the next few months, we attended parties regularly. Each time brought fresh experiences, and our relationship got stronger. In daily life, Lauren remained elegant and quiet, but at the parties, she revealed a passionate, bold side. That duality made me fall for her all over again. One day, I asked her seriously, "Lauren, are you really enjoying this? You're not overdoing it, are you?" She thought for a moment and smiled. "At first, I did it for you. But now, I genuinely enjoy it. It feels like I've discovered a whole new side of myself." Her words put me at ease. "I'm glad. I feel the same. But the most important thing is going home together." She smiled warmly and held my hand tightly. "Let's keep having adventures together." She kissed me softly, her lips warm, and I felt our bond deepened in that moment. Now, our life has a fresh energy. Our daily routine is that of an ordinary middle-aged couple, but once a month, at the parties, we reveal new sides of ourselves. What started as simple curiosity has strengthened our bond. Discovering and embracing new aspects of each other has brought new life into our nearly 30-year marriage. Tonight, we're holding hands, preparing for our next adventure. We don't know what encounters await, but we know we'll always end up together. That's our greatest joy.